Introducing the epic new Swift. Time to go swifting.
वॉचो ऐप पे देखो एक ओटीटी के दाम पे सारे ओटीटी शान से।
Yet another thriller for us to unpack from the ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2024 on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout, powered by Dish TV Watcho, with Morne Morkel giving us company. Morne, thank you for your time. What a game we've witnessed, so near yet so far for Nepal. They must be gutted.
Heartbreak for Nepal, like you said, a real opportunity to go on and make history, to give South Africa a blood nose. I was one of those guys pre-game that thought, that the intensity that South Africa would bring to the game would be too much for them. But credit to them, they took no backward steps. They were, sort of up for the challenge. I thought they bowled extremely well, sort of outside that power play, taking the pace off the ball and really squeezing South Africa, making life difficult for them on a turning pitch.
Yeah, in that chase, 82 for 2 at the end of 13 overs, 34 needed in 7. It came down to 21 needed of the last 4, with 7 wickets in hand. They have to look at just those last 5 or 6 overs and how they just went quiet, and that could have been the difference between what would have been such a historic win for them.
100% right there. But I also think, with Nepal and then the occasion that brings, was sort of there for them to beat South Africa for the first time. That adds a lot of pressure sometimes as well. It's almost like, that run rate being 12. So for them, it would have been a great experience, great learning, going head-to-head and nose-to-nose to South Africa today. But as a team, you learn how to win. You learn how to close off all those sort of chases. But I think they can keep their head held very high. To go on for guys that don't play as much cricket as South Africa on different conditions, and that sort of fall behind in terms of the quality of cricket they play. Today they did themselves very proud, and I think they can sit tonight in the dressing room and be very chuffed with themselves.
That last ball and not completing that run, it's going to haunt Gulshan Jha for some time, you'd imagine.
Yeah. I think that's World Cup sometimes brings those sort of moments where you'll sit down and you reflect about what if. I still think about our 2015 World Cup, a lot of things that I could have done differently personally in that game. But that's how we learn and that's how we grow. And that's the brutality of this game, is that winning is never sort of guaranteed to you. You have to work hard. You have to give it everything to get that final run or complete the ball. And that's why we love the game. And like I said, for them, there's a lot of learning and a lot of positives going out of the game from Nepal. And with what I saw today with their spin, they're a team that can compete, and on when they get the right surface, they can get a lot of teams. They'll keep a lot of teams busy.
It was South Africa's solitary spinner who proved to be the difference and pulled them back and helped them avoid this upset. Shamsi getting his first game this World Cup, and he was the difference.
Yeah, you sort of watching that first innings, you knew that Shamsi was going to have to play a key role for South Africa in defending that total. South Africa, yes, they do back their pace attack. That's been their sort of strength the last 2 years, and we spoke about the variety they have in their attack. They've got the pace, but Shamsi coming in for his first game in the World Cup, back from injury, haven't played for a while. There would have been a lot of pressure on him. So it's just great to see him sort of execute well and take those crucial wickets. We know defending a low total, you need to take wickets, you need to bowl teams out, and that's great for South Africa. Aiden said at the back end there, the wickets are potentially going to be slow. It's going to be turning. So for him to have confidence and also have Keshav Maharaj, in the dugout, where he missed out today in the potential lineup. South Africa now, have the options of bringing in, spin and pace off the ball, which is a nice position to be in.
So it's something you won't be surprised to see happening if South Africa do play Super 8 games on slower surfaces, maybe play both the spinners together, which we haven't seen so far.
For sure, they'll definitely need to look at that option. I think we all sort of, not all, but we got the wicket sort of. I think they got the wicket slightly wrong today. I don't think they expected the wicket to turn as much, as it did. But also in saying that, South Africa's blueprint and game plan probably would have been to attack Nepal with pace. But I think it's going to be crucial, going up against teams that enjoy that bit of pace on the ball. It's hard to get Shamsi away in white ball cricket. And for me, when he's in form, when his tail is up, he's a real competitor, and he can and might just give South Africa that extra bit of edge with the ball on the slower surfaces.
Yeah, South Africa will be in Group 2 with the Super 8s. They'll play 2 of their Super 8 games in Antigua and 1 in St. Lucia. We're talking about spin. The story of this game is incomplete without the impact Nepal spinners had in the first half. Morne really had the South African batters all at sea. Kushal Bhurtal and Dipendra Singh Airi with all the wickets, but Sandeep Langmichane too with an economical 4-over spell.
Yeah, they bowled exceptionally well. They really made life hard for South Africa, rotating strike, scoring boundaries. So South Africa, we know, improved their strike rates against spin, but it just shows you, facing spin on a good wicket and facing spin on a wicket that's stopping and holding a bit is two different games. So from a South African point of view, for me, they mentioned they didn't maybe use the word, they didn't have enough intensity at the crease. For me, that's a non-negotiable. Playing for South Africa, you need to have intensity. Playing for your country, you need to have intensity. Before you go out to bat, people will talk about we'll have to be, we'll have to have intensity at the crease. I don't think that is the real sort of cause there with South Africa. I feel, they at the moment batting on surfaces that is hard to score and hard to rotate strike. And individual game plans at the moment, going from what's my plan A to plan B might be a little bit slow, or they don't know how to go in that phase where things get a little bit trickier. So they've got a bit of homework to do. They've got a bit of planning to do, because the wickets are going to play like that. And we're not saying or expecting South Africa to score 180, 200, but they are better than the performance that they've been putting on the last couple of games. But take nothing away from Nepal. I thought, their strength is obviously pace off the ball, and they had to execute quite well, because South Africa, like we've discussed, in previous build-ups, they'll look to target spin. The Claessens, the Millers, the Stubbs, they're good players to spin, and for them to tie those guys down and make life hard for South Africa and restricting to that total was a great effort.
Yeah, and the evidence of what you say lies if you look at the second half of South Africa's batting. 67 for 1 in 11, they would have been fairly okay with that. But then the last 9, only 48 for 6, which too was down to some hits from Tristan Stubbs. Is that the biggest cause of concern for South Africa heading into the Super 8s? That 4 games in, even given the difficult conditions, you're yet to see a collective batting performance?
I'll have to say it is a slight concern. We kept on sort of talking about the wicket in New York, and they're going to move up in venues, and hopefully that will be the change. But in reality, if you look at the stats in the CPL and those sort of things, there aren't really high-scoring games. And South Africa at the moment, in terms of their game plans or how they're going to attack and bat on these surfaces at the moment is a question mark. No doubt that they've got the quality and the experience in the team to rectify that. But I feel like looking at this World Cup, it's going to be on the day, because the surfaces are so tricky. It's going to be on the day. It's going to be somebody that plays a little gem of a knock that's going to win games for you. I don't think we're going to see collective guys in this World Cup across all teams, having a day out and scoring 50s and 100s and stuff like that. It's on the day. It's going to be low scoring, and the player who can suck up the pressure, who can absorb that pressure a little bit and find ways to manipulate the field, rotate strike, and get the odd boundary away. Those are the guys that are going to be standing with the man of the match medallions after the game. But for South Africa, in terms of going forward to now into the Super 8s, they're going to be up against teams that can play. Obviously, it's going to be tough composition. So having low scoring games, and it's not going to be so easy for them to get out of jail with low scoring games.
Yes, USA, West Indies, and 1 out of England and Scotland will be alongside South Africa in the Super 8s. Let's see how they go. Nepal now have one last game against Bangladesh to land another statement before they sign off on this World Cup. Thank you so much, Morne Morkel, for unpacking Nepal versus South Africa for us.
Introducing the Epic New Swift. Time to go swifting.
वॉचो ऐप पे देखो एक ओटीटी के दाम पे सारे ओटीटी शान से।
Watch